everyone, welcome back to another episode of Creator Flow Live. My name is Elisha Jacobs, and we are going to be going into part two of the Blitzit review and setup and connecting it with Notion inside of part one, which was done yesterday, I believe. We looked at how you can get started, how you set up your list, and kind of exploring the workspace and all the things and doing the integration with Notion. We had some technical difficulties, but if you have not seen part one, you can look at it. The link is going to be in the description. You can hit the link in the description and view the part one. So part two today, we're going to be continuing the series on how you can actually execute at a higher rate and fusing together Notion with the Blitzit app. Um, this is going to be great for those who have projects, like I said in part one. If you are a person who is project oriented, or you work with clients, or you have a list of predefined things that you do day in and day out, this is going to be great for you. And the beautiful thing about um, the Blitzit app, it gives you that timer app, and you are able to keep track. It gives you a full report and all the things. So we are definitely going to get into it. So I am going to switch my view, and I'm going to start off tonight with Notion, because there are a few things that you need to know before you start importing your tasks into Blitzit. And then we're going to look at some of the additional features that Blitzit has to offer. So I'm going to switch over my scene. All right, and we are going to go right into Notion. Let me just bring this up full screen so you guys can get a full view of it. All right, so there are some key things that I have noticed with regards to taking the information that is inside of Notion and taking it over into Blitzit, is that it is heavily dependent on three main statuses for every task or even the projects that you create in your Notion database. And so inside of my task flow manager, which is a part of the template for my creator flow kit, from my creator flow kit, I have just randomly putting three sample tasks so I can demonstrate tonight and how you can get your information over into Blitzit. And then I'm going to show you the features of Blitzit. But some of the things I want to share with you from the Notion side is that once you add your tasks in and you go into, ooh, yeah, and you go into put in all your details. What I would recommend for you, because I do know that a lot of people use Notion as their main hub for their project management, I would say you will put in all your subtasks, you put in all the details relating to your tasks, set up your projects as per normal. What you're going to be using Blitzit for is to execute the individual tasks that you need to get done. And if you have a specific task within a specific project that needs to be timed, Blitzit will work perfectly for that. All right. So the main thing that like seamlessly integrates Notion with Blitzit is the status area here. All right. And a task can fall into three categories. It's either it's not started, it's in progress, or it's done or archived. Once your task has a status field, it's going to be easy for that task to come over into Blitzit. And also, once you complete that task in Blitzit, it's going to update automatically inside of Notion. And I'm going to show you how you can do this, and you're going to see it in real time how it's actually done. So I actually created three sample tasks. One, that I have to publish my this week's YouTube video. The other is that I have a client project, and the other is a business planning. Now, some people, and I know this can be, and I am that person too, but some people, they can get super deep when it comes to project management, in that the task has tasks, and the subtask has a subtask of a subtask of a subtask. Some of us can go there, and that is okay, but you just need a central location where you're able to manage your projects, all right, and you're keeping track of your projects. So I have set up these three tasks inside of Notion. I stated, well, okay, I need to publish my YouTube video. I need to complete a task for my client, and I also have to do some business planning. So those are my top three things, let's say, for example, that I have to focus on this week. So what I want to do now is take these three tasks and bring it into Blitzit so I can manage my time effectively and literally time how I get tasks done. But like, does it take me an hour or 2 hours to actually complete a specific task? So I want to maximize my time in that way. All right. So I'm gonna switch over to Blitzit. All right. And in part one, you saw how to set up the list. Lists are your organizational containers that you're going to use to separate different projects and tasks. So if you want to create a list for life, studies, business, content, you can go ahead and do so. And but you keep your list in order and you can customize it. So I touched on all of this in part one. All right. So I'm going to try and bring in all three of those tasks from Notion into Blitzit. Now, in part one, also, we did um do the integration with Notion. So my Notion is connected, but I want to go a step further into bringing in the task. So I'm going to click on Notion again. So when you go to the top right here, you click on your menu icon, and then you are going to click on Notion, and then it's going to ask you to link a list. So it's going to search Notion, your Notion account, for all the databases. And inside those databases, it's going to identify projects and it's going to identify tasks. So I'm going to click on link a list. And for the first one, I'm going to do is let me do business. So I'm going to do the business one first, and I'm going to hit on a link now. Okay. And what it's going to do at this point, it's going to open up um that list. Now with Blitzit, and I don't remember if I mentioned it in part one, but Blitzit, these are the four columns. They don't give you the option to add more columns, but these are the four major columns in Blitzit backlog. So anything that is planned, in progress, or not started, they're going to be added to the backlog column. All right. Then you can move it from backlog over into this week, and then you can move it over into today if you're going to be focusing in on that today. And then you have your done or your complete column. All right. Now you can natively add tasks inside of um you can natively add tasks inside of Blitzit. That's outside of Notion. So you can add your tasks in here as well. Maybe you have a task that you remember that you need to do and you need to spend some time in doing it. And you also need to log that time in of how you got that done. You can natively insert it in here as well. So to the top right, you're gonna see the Notion icon appearing to the top right. You're gonna click on that, and then it's gonna ask you to add a database. So I'm gonna click on Add Databases, and then it's going to search Notion database. So it searched Notion, my Notion account, and it noticed that I have two sets of database. I have a projects database and I have a task database. Now, at the time of this review, And because I do believe this is a relatively new app, they're still rolling out features. So for right now, if you're going to implement it, the best practice at the time of this live, I would say to select tasks. All right, so I'm going to select tasks and then I'm going to click on update databases. So I just want to focus on my tasks. I'm going to hit on refresh. All right, and notice it's just bringing in the task database. All right, I'm going to click on this arrow to collapse it. And then you can, when you go to cards, you're going to see those three areas or whichever areas. If you have tasks that are not started, tasks that are in progress, or tasks that are either backlog or done, it's going to be listed here. Now, the three tasks that I have from Notion, notice I have all of them on their not started. If I were to move, let's say, client project over to in progress, what I would need to do, I would go over back to Blitz and I would hit refresh, click that collapse button, go back into cards, and notice the other sections. I have the not started section and then I have the in progress section. Now, Blitzit does have an automation that is set, but you will have to set that up or turn it on. And so if you go over to settings, this is where the status mapping and this automatic syncing actually comes in. So I can say, well, okay, I want Notion Blitzit to pull all of my tasks from Notion into the app, maybe every time I open it, or how often the cycle of syncing actually takes place. So in the backlog column, I want all tasks that are not started and in progress to be added. All right. Those that are done, they will go into the done section, or they can also go into the archive, or those that have the status done or archive can go in there as well. And then I can hit enable sync and then it will sync. Now, the other thing, when it comes to people filters and assignees, there are people with teams, maybe two or more persons that may be working inside of your Notion, and you may assign different tasks to different people. And so if you're the overall project manager, or you need to assign specific tasks to specific people and they're using Blitzit, then you can choose who you want it to go to. Now, because I am the single user of my Notion account, I can just simply select this, but I will leave it as it is. Now, there is a other property settings, and that property settings is if you have what is called checklist. So if you have fields inside of your task, let's say for example, if I go over into Notion and I open up here, let me open this. All right. So I can have an actual property. If I go to add property here and I call it a checklist, and I can say this is called done as an example, or I may say this is a review as a checklist, right? Once I make that change, I will definitely have to refresh again. So let me hit refresh. I'm going to bring up the settings for that again. All right, so the review can come in as a subtask. So that is one way you can actually do subtasks inside from Notion into Blitzit. But as a recommendation for right now, because you're executing tasks and keeping track of your time, that is optional, but that's a way in which you can actually enable subtasks from Notion into Blitzit. All right, so this is basically like the automation part of Blitzit with the status mapping as well as the automatic syncing, right? If you go back over into cards, you can also individually, if I did not turn that on, it would individually allow you to select your various tasks and you can just hit import or add. All right. Now, once you set these settings and you hit sync Notion tasks, notice that it's going to look for all those tasks that has the status not started and in progress. Okay. Once it did that, notice it's appearing in the backlog section. All right. Now, this is where you literally Notion handed over your task to your execution app, which is Blitzit. Okay. So the next thing we need to do, we need to state, okay, take this task and now execute on those tasks. So let's say, for example, this may not necessarily be a task for business, but it should be under content. Then I can simply click the three dots to the right of that task and click on change list. And then I can say move it to content because I do have a list for content. All right. And I'm going to hit move. The same thing with the client project. I will move it from here. I'm going to change the list and I'm going to put it under, which one is that? Okay, I think I moved the wrong thing just now. All right, so this goes to clients. And if I go back and I go into, oh yeah, okay, so perfect. All right, so notice it's added to the different list. So clients have their tasks, business has their tasks, and content has their tasks. All right. So when you come out or when you log in, it's going to say you have pending tasks in each of the different lists. And then with all your lists, it tells you the total number of pending tasks that you have. All right. So when I go into business again, business planning either usually takes me a few hours, it may take me a few days, and so I want to like literally flesh this out inside of Blitzit. So the first thing I'm going to do, you can add an estimated time of how long this task usually takes you. Usually, if I'm doing business planning, I would say the average is like maybe 2 hours. Oh, not 20. 02. All right. So it usually takes me about 2 hours, and this is just an estimate. All right. Also, there are other features here. You can add this little icon here gives you the option to add subtasks. So in order for me to complete my business planning or complete my quarter planning or whatever the case may be, I may have a series of little things that I need to do in order to complete that overarching task. So for example, one of the subtasks could be that I need to review uh analytics. The other thing is that I may need to add another subtask. I may need to run reports. All right. So the all of these can be, oh, I missed the other one. All right. Review analytics. That one I did not press enter on that. All right, so these are my two subtasks. So as I'm going along and I'm dedicating time to do my business planning, I'm checking off all the things that I need to get done in order to complete my business planning tasks. All right. So here is where you would add your subtasks. The next thing is that you can add your notes if there is specific notes that you want to add. You could say quarterly, just put this as an example. Mm, Quarterly, right? As an example, so you can actually add a note, right? And All right, so notice the note is added there. And then you can simply click the three dots if you need to schedule this. So maybe this is a task that may need to get done either today, tomorrow, or whatever. So for this example, I'm going to say it's for today. All right. And then you can state which specific time. Now, if there is a task that you do every single week, let's say, for example, you do like you plan your week every week on like on Sunday or a Monday, you plan for the entire week, then you can actually create that main task and then you can set it up inside of Blitzit so it will remind you to get that task completed. Most to-do list apps and timer apps or task execution or managers, they do give you that option. All right. So I can state what time I want to do this. I'm not going to add a time, but I can state if it's is it repeats every day, every weekday, every Tuesday, every month on a specific date. You can specify that, all right? Or you can choose no repeat, all right? So if I hit schedule, it's going to move it from the backlog column and it's going to put it into the today column, all right? If you have a three top priorities for your business, you list it or you can put it in Notion or you can list it in here. If you have three main priorities for your content, you do the same. If you have three main priorities that you need to complete for your clients, you can put it in there as well. All right. So I like the organization of how they did this because it's really focused and it's also prioritizing the things that you need to get done and doing it in an efficient way, right? So it's telling me that I still have one pending task and the estimated time to complete this task is 2 hours. Now, once I move it over into the today column and I hit blitz it now, right? Once I hit blitz it now, it's going to collapse that window into a smaller window. And notice the timer is set. All right. So the timer is going here. As you can see, the countdown is going there. And it gives me the option to either take a break. It gives me the option to add notes. It gives me the option to pause the timer, or I can altogether skip the timer or say that I'm done doing that task. It also gives me the option to view my subtasks. So as I'm doing the task and I'm doing all the things, whether I'm switching to Notion to do something, it's always going to stay on here. All right. Let me move this to the side. It's going to stay here. Now, the timer is going, and also I can enter what is called focus mode. So when I click on focus mode, this is going to collapse even further. So there's minimal distractions. It actually puts the app in a minimal state. And so the timer is going to the top here. All right. And I can say, well, okay, I've completed reviewing my analytics. So it tells me one of two subtasks is completed. I may go about my time doing all the other things. If I need to add subtasks here, I may need to add subtasks. Maybe I would need to plan my monthly budget as an example. And I can just hit enter. So that's another task that I need to complete. All right. Because as digital entrepreneurs, or even if you're doing your creative work, as you go on, you will refine your processes, and as you go on, and you're doing things consistently over and over, you would find that sometimes it takes you 6 steps or 6 subtasks to get a specific thing done. And then as you find as you go along and you get better and better with practice, and it's something that is repetitive, you cut down those 6 steps into 3 steps. All right. So once you do that, the next thing is that I can check off, well, okay, I'm running my reports and I have completed my budget as an example. All right. I have done all the things to get this task done. So what I will do now, I will simply hit on done. It's going to chime, and there's a multiple of different things happening simultaneously. So it's going to say, congratulations, well done. It's going to give you that funny gift. And it's going to tell you, yes, you estimated that it will take you 2 hours, but you've completed it early. And it's going to either tell you move on to your next task if you have anything in that today list, or take a break. All right. And it told you the estimated time and how long it actually took you to complete that task. All right. Once that is done, if you notice, automatically on the back end of Notion, it moved that task from not started over into the done column. And it also notified, uh, let me bring this back on home. All right. Let me go over to Notion. So Notion, I got a notification on my various devices that have Notion that this task was completed. And if I go to the inbox section over here, it is telling me that the Blitzit app updated a property, and it told me the name of the task, and it showed that the status went from not started to done. And that's on that. Right, so that's how it notifies you. So I will just simply said, yes, I have read this, and so this task is completed, so I can continue about my day on getting stuff all done. All right, now on the Blitzit side, it's showing that this task is completed. I was able to complete my 3 subtasks for this specific task, and I can simply come out of here, and I've finished with my business. Now I can move on to content, or I can move on to my client work, and so forth. Now, as you're constantly keep using the app day in and day out, again, like I spoke or touched on in part one, is that the app does give you reports. All right. Now, based between last evening and in this very moment, um, this is the report that it has generated for us based on the activities that has been captured so far. So I'm actually pulling data for let's say this week. All right. So it's giving me a very good report right now. It is showing me my total number of days that I worked, which was 2 between yesterday and today. Total tasks done, my total hours worked, my average time per task. Again, if you have quite extensive things to do, let's say for example, you're editing a video, or you're editing your short form content for your Instagram or for you, or you're doing long form content for YouTube, that task may take you hours. It might take you a good amount of time. So you want to make sure that that is running while you are doing the actual task, so you can see when is your most productive time and how much hours you're actually spending on doing a specific task. Now, this is giving a report for all of the lists, but you can also filter it based on a specific list. Now, I know with digital entrepreneurs, or even entrepreneurs in total, if you are a service provider and you may need to know the exact amount of hours you spend on specific client work, then you can create a list dedicated for client work, and so you can pull that information. So in this case, if I do business, it would just show up for business within that period what I got done, and it will also tell me by list my most productive hour was between 8 p.m. and 9 p.m., which is at this time of the live, my most productive day and my most productive month, and it's telling me the tasks that were completed, and also time by list. All right, if I do all lists. So I want to be that person who goes into clients, and I am going to just hit that Mm, maybe this took me 15 minutes. Yeah, I'm put 0, 0, 15. That's 15 seconds. Yeah. 50, no. Let me put that at 0. Over here is the hours and minutes. Okay, so 0, 0, 15. Okay. All right, this may have taken me 15 minutes. I'm going to send it over to today as an example, and I'm going to hit done on this. I'm going to do the content one too. All right. It took me about, say an hour to get this out. Just giving you examples. And I got that completed. And of course, on the back end of Notion, it's going to, depending on how the sync cycle goes, things would move right away or they would stay based on the sync cycle. But I wanted to just blow through that. But the main thing of using the Blitzit is for the timer for most people, right? So if I'm doing all this, it's going to show me 2 days. It's going to show me business and my done task. And these timers work. This is really good for the timer. The time reports are really, really good because you are able to see where you're spending most of your time with certain tasks. Also, I do believe, and I think I read this on their upcoming updates and release notes, is that they will give you the ability over time to export this information and you can have it exported as a PDF because there might be some clients who may want to see this breakdown. So that might be helpful, but as the app progresses and as the app rolls out, they are definitely going to give you more ability to do other stuff in terms of the app. But this is a really great solution to have. Again, the main purpose of using this app, although I have forced all of these different tasks to be completed, is to use more or less that timer and getting that timer up and running, so I'm able to keep track of how long did it take me to complete a specific task. And once I am done with it, I just simply hit on done. It's going to tell me well done. I love the gifts. It's so nice. I really love the gifts. And so it will keep reporting on that. So as you constantly keep using the timers and to complete specific tasks, it's going to generate and populate these reports. So that is it. That is basically Blitzit. And again, it's a relatively new this is just version 2 of it. So as the app progresses and as it matures, as they keep developing and getting feedback from developers and users, they're going to add more and more features. I see that they're gonna bring ClickUp. They're gonna give you the ability to connect your ClickUp, your Trello, your Asana to the platform as well. You also get the ability to do more, and tools like this again, once they're giving you these lifetime access and you know that this is something that you're going to use, I do advise that you tap into it. All right, so this is how you use Blitzit to not only manage your time and but also executing on the tasks that you need to get done with, and you can also see where you're spending the most time, how you're spending those times, and connecting it into Notion. Again, this is at the basic level, but I do believe as the app rolls out, they are going to add more capabilities with that integration with Notion. All right. Because I know I've found some gaps that I would like to see. For example, because of the project manager that I have, I would like to have the ability to add my subtask and let that subtask automatically go over into Blitzit, right? So maybe Notion might come up with their own solution, but for the time being, this is at the base level that you can do with regards to Blitzit and Notion. All right. Okay, so that is it. We had some technical difficulties coming to the end of part one, but I really wanted to come in and like do part two for you guys and show you how you can use it with Notion, how you can connect it with Notion. And I know this is going to be a game changer for those who are heavy with their project management and who needed a timer to integrate with Notion. This is a good solution for you. All right. So, that's basically it. If you've missed part one, again, the link is in the description for you to access part one of the setup. And we go through the workflow and the connections, how you actually connect it. And that is basically it for tonight's Creator Flow Live. Again, if you want to get my entire productivity system that I have developed inside of Notion, inside of the Apple ecosystem. You're gonna get those templates, you're gonna get the entire system that I use, but also you will get email templates, you get workflows, you're going to get my 3-step autopilot guide and some bonuses and training that I've included inside of the kit. I have a special running for the kit. Usually the kit is $395, but for the low price and it's a limited time offer, you're getting it for a steal. You can literally steal my entire productivity system. I can't believe I'm about to utter the words, but you can get it for a limited time for just $7. Yes, you heard correctly, just $7. All right. So if you want to get your Creator Flow kit with the bonuses, the training, and my exact system of how I'm able to plan, organize, and create content consistently without burnout, you can hit the link in the description below and you can get access to your Creator Flow Kit. All right, so thank you so much for tuning in. If you're viewing this on the replay, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Please like, share, subscribe, and do all the things. And I will see you guys back in the next Creator Flow live session. And stay productive, stay focused, and I will see you in the next session. Bye.